welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for the 13th round of 15 for the Formula 1 League here for Season 4 on the Formula 1 game here on the PlayStation platform at a very, very drenched Mexico City by the looks of it. Certainly looks like the usual dry weather that we get at this track has not converted into the F1 game, so we're seeing some very soggy conditions indeed here tonight. And that's going to be quite an exciting and maybe quite an exciting qualifying session. Maybe a bit of a switch up in terms of the usual order. Obviously, the guys who drive without traction control might struggle here in this one, but it's GGJ currently setting the pace here by over half a second clear of Demsbecki. So GGJ is really flying around this Mexico City Grand Prix circuit tonight, really enjoying these wet conditions. We've seen him go really strong in these types of conditions before. And currently top of the pile ahead of Demsbecki. Game for Life also is up there, but a long way off for the fastest time, being set by GGJ right now. I want to say a big warm welcome to everybody currently tuning in to the action here live on the Motive Racing YouTube channel. If you're watching, guys, please do smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to join the leagues, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com as well. We have got a possible, well, it's looking very probable that we're going to see Joram crowned a 3-time champion for the F1 League here tonight, because with the absence of Bennett LCFC, it means that Joram will have a 60-point lead automatically going into the final 2 races of the season, because obviously even if he scores no points, he'll keep that 60-point lead, which he's already got, 61 points to be precise. But as long as Bennett doesn't unexpectedly show up before the start of this race, we are going to see Joram crowned champion on the formation lap, which is going to be a bit bizarre, but potentially we could see Joram wrap up the title on the formation lap here. As long as Bennett doesn't make a surprise appearance here tonight, Joram's going to wrap up the title. So that is the situation right now. That's currently where we stand with things, just to keep everybody in the loop. Joram with a 61-point lead in the championship. I'm going to read out the full standings so we can have a full idea of exactly what the situation is here for this season so far, with obviously 3 races left in the season, including tonight. So Joram sits at the top of the standings on 215 points. Bennett 61 behind on 154. Big gap back to the rest of them. Demsbecki sits in 3rd on 89 points, ahead of GGJ, who is on 78 points in 4th. Max GT sits in 5th on 76 points, so it doesn't look like Max is with us at the moment. Hopefully he can get himself in before the end of this session. You've got little Greavy, who sits in 7th in the standings. He is on 71 points, followed by HD Baguette, who's in 8th on 65 points. The Mutts Nuts, I think I've gone wrong somewhere, sorry. Yeah, so Max is 5th on 76, Little Greavy 6th on 71, HD Baguette 7th on 65 points. And you've got the Mutts Nuts, who sits in 8th place in the standings on 61 points, followed by Pete Cheward, who's on 55 points in 9th. Rednas sits on 41 points in 10th in the standings, ahead of Crescent Anime, who sits in 11th in the standings on 35 points, followed by the Grieve, who sits on 27 in 12th place. Magfire in 13th on 19 points, Raki on 16 points in 14th place in the standings, followed by Thousand Corn, who sits in 15th on 15 points. Game for Life sits on 12 in 16th place. Crazy Max in 17th on 12 points, followed by Penguin Dude in 18th on 10 points. 3 Rock in 19th on 8 points. T in 20th on 4 points. DJ Phil in 21st place on 1 point for this season so far, and Chicken Wing in 22nd with nil points still to his name. So that is the situation right now here with these standings, and obviously the main ones being that Joram 215 points to his name so far this season. He's 61 clear of Bennett, but Bennett not here tonight, so Joram on the verge of wrapping up the title here, with obviously 2 races left in this season. So could it be Joram's crowning night here to take a triple in terms of the F1 League here at Motive? He's won the last 2 seasons. Obviously he won season 2 very decisively. He won that with 5 races left in the season, an absolutely dominant championship from Joram in season 2. Around this time last year that was, and then obviously last season was a much closer battle, went all the way down to the wire nearly with Magfire. I think Red Joram actually did wrap it up with 1 round to spare, but the championship gap was less than a race win between them by the end of the season, so it was quite close between them. in all honesty, by the time we got to the end of the season. But yeah, it was still Joram who took the spoils in last season's championship, and obviously this time around looking like he's going to win it slightly more decisively than we saw last season, but not quite as comfortably as he won season 2. He still had to fight for this one. Bennett's pushed him all the way. And it's really only in the last couple of races where Joram has opened up a massive lead. But Jeb Bennett was actually leading the championship up until, I'd say, probably that halfway point in the season. It was only about 4 or 5 races ago that Joram actually pipped him to the top of the standings, and since then the gap has been staying quite close until maybe the last couple of races where Bennett hasn't been able to make it, and that's currently what's got Joram with this very healthy 61-point lead in the championship. But watching Joram currently on currently an improved lap time here, as he's 6/10 up on his personal best coming through this middle sector. Can he find a little bit more here and potentially take pole position away from GGJ, who's just coming out of the pits at the moment? Let's see what our 2-time champion can do here as he's coming out of the last corner and up towards the start finish line. What is this going to be for Joram? He goes in 2nd place, so a 10th of a drift of GGJ, his big rival over the last few seasons, who currently still sits on provisional pole at the moment. So it's GGJ from Joram, with Demsbecky half a second off of the top time, sat in 3rd place, and a couple of turns back to Game for Life, who's doing a solid job so far here tonight. The Mucksnuts P5 at this stage is currently just coming over the line to start another lap. You got Little Greavy in the pits. Tezamuzza, big shout out to Tezamuzza, making a reserve appearance tonight. He also joined us at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix and did a very good job actually in that one. Almost managed to beat Joram. Those two had a great battle for the win, but Joram just about came on top of him in that one. So it was a close battle between those two, but be interesting to see what Tezamuzza can do here tonight. Orky is currently done for the session. Matty Pitt just picks Orky there up into 8th place. That's a good job there from Matty Pitt. Managed to get himself up the order a little bit. Pushes Orky down to 9th. Big Tigger. We all know who Big Tigger is, don't we? Come on, it's the guy who changes his name at least 4 times a season. It is T. Welcome back to you, mate. Good to see you back on the track. He's gone a little bit deep there coming to the stadium section, but T is currently sat in P10 at the moment in this session, and let's see what he can do as he's coming out of the final corner. Can he improve a little bit more here? I think he's taking quite a tight line coming through the last corner. Doesn't improve there, stays in P10. Oh, his Twitch Storm's lost it, and he was just half a second up on his personal best in the 1st sector, but he's not going to improve because he's messed it up. So what a shame there for him, as we've got Magpie Toon making his debut here tonight at Motive. He's up on his personal best. He goes into P9, so a good job there from Magpie Toon. He races over at Purple Sector, and Matty Pitt asked could he come along and join us tonight, and I said yeah, why not, we've got space, come and join us, and so he has done. As Twitch Storms there is currently on what looks to be an in-lap, I think. He's not doing too well. Red, Nasraki and George are all done for the session. I think George might have bailed out of the session, I'm not sure. But it is going to be GGJ starting this one on pole position here for the Mexico City Grand Prix here at Motive. Joram lining up alongside him on the front row. Demsbecky did actually get a little bit closer to those guys at the end of the session there. He got within 2/10 of a second of, well, 2.5 tenths of the pole time there from GGJ. So Demsbecky there doing a very, very good job there, getting quite close to the top 2 contenders here in this F1 league. What a season that GGJ's had as well. And I'll tell you what, if he hadn't have missed so many races this year, or this season should I say, then he would have been right in it, in the battle with Joram and Bennett. In fact, he could even have been in a position to challenge Joram at this point. What a shame that he missed the first few rounds. But that is that then for the qualifying session here for the Mexican Grand Prix here at Motive here for season 4 on the F1 game. It is GGJ who'll be lining up on pole ahead of Joram, followed by Demsbecky with Game for Life 4th. The Mucksnuts will be lining up in P5. A good qualifying session for him, really excelling in these wet conditions. Little Greavy starting P6 and Tezamuzza in 7th, followed by Matty Pitt in 8th. Magpie Toon will line up in 9th place with Orky alongside him in P10, and then it's going to be Big Tigger followed by Twitch Storms. Red Nas in 13th ahead of Raki. Did George stay in the session or did he bail out? I'm not sure. Also, I didn't catch whether or not we've had any more drivers join during the qualifying. I think Crazy Max was trying to join during the qualifying, so if he managed to get himself in, we'll be seeing, I think, 16 cars on the grid. It's going to be 15 or 16 cars. I'm not sure how many we're going to see. George jumping in and out of the session, not quite sure what he's trying to do there, but here we are nonetheless, guys. We're about to go to the race. So I said before, as long as Bennett doesn't actually make it into the session unexpectedly, because we're not expecting him to start, we are being told he's not going to make it tonight, then we will actually see Bennett LCFC lose his chance of taking the title. Joram will wrap it up. He's 61 points clear in the championship. Obviously, after tonight, we're only going to have 2 races left. So as soon as the formation lap starts, without Bennett, we can officially say that Joram is a 3-time champion here at Motive. So we're just waiting for the driver list to come up on the screen, and then we'll be able to tell you exactly what the situation is with this championship for season 4. So here we are, we're just counting down now and getting ready to fade in here for the 13th round, or 15th for the F1 League here at Motive. We're just watching and waiting with bated breath to see exactly what happens here. Right, so we have got 16 drivers in the session. That's great to see. Obviously, it looks like DJ Phil got himself in during the qualifying session, and George did manage to line up. So it looks like we got 16 here. So that's a decent number of drivers here this evening. Obviously, it would have been nice to have a full 20-car grid, but you can't have everything in life. And also, the big news here is that Joram 22 is a 3-time champion here at Motive Racing for the Formula 1 League. A big congratulations to him. A very strange moment to be making this congratulations, but I suppose the formation lap is as good a time as any when you think about it. So yeah, Joram 22, what a job he's done for the last few seasons here at Motive Racing. I mean, he's been the man to beat here for such a long time now. He obviously really rose to the occasion in season 2, just made unbelievable improvements from season 1 to season 2. Was a mid-pack contender in season 1 on the F1 2020 game, but obviously dropped all assists in season 3, I think it was. But he's just come on leaps and bounds over the last few seasons. A credit to the league, and massive congratulations to him. He's got some important news which he wants to share with us, but I'm going to let him break that news as and when he's ready for it. But currently starting in P2 for this race, your champion for season 4. He's already done it with 2 rounds to, well, 3 rounds I suppose, considering tonight, but it won't be officially confirmed until the end of the race, because obviously that's when the gap of 61 points will be too much for Bennett to claw back. Bennett not here tonight, so he's not going to be able to claw back that gap in the 2 races that remain after tonight. So Joram 22, a 3-time champion here at Motive Racing on the F1 game here on the PlayStation platform. What an achievement that's been, and congratulations to him for his dominance over such a long period here at Motive. But back to the race, GGJ will be starting this one on pole. Joram will be trying to get onto him as soon as he possibly can and give him a bit of a fight here for this win. We've seen these 2 big rivals, obviously they've gone at it so many times. GGJ also was very keen to know where he was in the championship standings. He's 4th in the championship standings on 78 points, so he's done a really good job in the limited amount of races he's had. I think that might also be wrong as well, because I think he wasn't signed up as an official driver until a certain point, so I do need to fix that. It's Joram, oh my days, he's doing some donuts there on the grid before the start of the race. That, I tell you what, that's well, I'll let it go, because you can kind of understand it. Tessa Muzzle misses his grid spot, so does George, so does Demis Becky, but we're getting ready on the grid, about to go racing here for the Mexico City Grand Prix here, round 13 of 15 for season 4 here on the Formula 1 game. And when the lights start to come on, we'll know that we're locked in and ready to go, and about to go racing here for this latest round in the championship. And it is going to be lights out in a second, will it? I think it is, and it is lights out, and away we go. Here we go. And Joram didn't get a great start. Demis Becky got slightly better, but it looks like Game for Life got a little bit soft the line as well. He's lost out to Lil Greavy and the Mutts Nuts. As you can see there, Game for Life is now getting back ahead of the Mutts Nuts down towards turn 1. Demis Becky's done Joram, but we're almost 3 wide coming into turn 1 as Demis Becky's looking around the outside of GGJ. GGJ not with a great run there, coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. He manages to hold on ahead of Demis Becky there. You can see Game for Life's got back ahead of Lil Greavy up into 4th place, and no other moves really going on right now as Lil Greavy's actually got back ahead of Game for Life. Game for Life getting a poor run there out of turn 3 and loses out to the Mutts Nuts as well. But GGJ leading ahead of Demis Becky at the moment. There's Joram right behind. And Game for Life's got back ahead of the Mutts Nuts there, up into 5th place. Around the outside, the Mutts Nuts with a bit of a poor run coming through the chicane. It's down to P7. He loses out to Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt is now up into 6th place. Ahead of the Mutts Nuts, you've got Tezza Muzzer ahead of Orky, followed by Twitch Storms. Then you've got Big Tigger, followed by DJ Phil. Magpie Toons got ahead of Red, and that's up into 13th place. Followed by Raki, who's in P15 and last place at the moment. But GGJ with Dennis Becky and Joe, I'm pretty close on the back of him right now. The pack is already very close together, down to the fact that it's only the first lap of the race. But GGJ managing to maintain the lead despite obviously the massive slipstream effect that you get up to turn 1 with such a long run down towards the first corner from where the grid slots are. It's really hard to actually keep on to pole position, but GGJ has managed to do that absolutely brilliantly. Dennis Becky getting ahead of Joe, but Joe is right on the back of Dennis Becky as we come out the last corner here, about to complete the first lap of the race. GGJ obviously with the fastest lap, down to the fact that he's leading the race. But an interesting first up here from these guys, as we can see in the background here. You've got Game for Life now eyeing up a move here on the back of Little Greavy. Down the start finish straight we come. That's going to be job done there for Game for Life, I think, into turn 1. Yes, it is. In the background there, you've got Matty Pitt followed by the Mutts Nuts. Tezza Muzzer's got Orky on the back of him. Sorry, Orky's trying to make the move. In fact, no, sorry, it's Orky losing out to Big Tigger. I do apologise. Big Tigger there, moving up into 9th place ahead of Orky. A bit of a gap back to DJ Phil, Magpie Toon and Red Nast. These guys battling over 11th place, and looks as though Magpie Toon's got ahead of DJ Phil up into P11 there. But Twitch Storms is in the pits at the end of the first lap, so he's had a nightmare. I didn't see what happened to Twitch Storms. Must have had damage on the car, and he's now coming out of his pit box and off and on his way again. As Magpie Toon is having a bit of a battle here with DJ Phil, manages to squeeze back ahead of him there. So DJ Phil losing out of position there to Magpie Toon, as Red Nass is trying to hassle the back of DJ Phil right now. We've got double wave yellow flags in sector 2. Not exactly sure why at this point, but Tezza Muzzer's lost it. He's gone into the barriers there. Did he have contact with somebody else? I'm not quite sure, but Tezza Muzzer's going to drop down to near enough the back of the pack. He's lucky because he's on the hard tyres, so he can go long into this first stint. Didn't look like he tapped the wall too hard either, so he shouldn't have damage. And he's lucky because he's still got a decent chance with the strategy coming into this race. He's about 15 seconds off for the lead. What can he get in this race now with the strategy maybe coming into play later on in the race? But GGJ has got the lead still. Demspec, within 0.3 of a second of him. Joram is right there as well, so the 3 leaders separated by 0.6 of a second as they're now coming down towards turn 1 for the 3rd time here in this race. You can see there Demspec having a look to the inside on GGJ, a little bit too far back coming into the corner, but he's watching and waiting and hoping he might be able to feast on some scraps that GGJ might leave if he makes a mistake at the moment. GGJ and Demspec running on the medium tyres, Joram on the hard, so Joram in a great position, so is Game for Life and so is Little Greavy, so these 3 in a great position to do something here on those hard tyres. But GGJ and Demspec need to get a move on and need to make their tyre advantage last whilst it lasts, because it's not going to last forever. So that definitely could be a factor in the rest of this race. JR saying in the comments, do you do horse racing commentary, Andy? It's too much to keep track of, mate. I'd have so many bits of information to hold on to. It'd be impossible for me to do, because I'd have to remember like which jockey's got what jacket and stuff like that. I'd just constantly be tripping over myself. I'd be terrible at it. But Demspec right now still holding on ahead of Joe. I'm in this battle for 2nd place. I've just been told that my controller is about to die, and my mic is plugged in with my headset controller. Oh no, this is a nightmare. Okay, we're just going to keep our composure and try and hunt for a cable whilst commentating here. So do bear with, guys. It's going to be a nightmare. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have to either do one or the other. I'm just going to have to maybe hope that the controller doesn't die. Nonetheless, Joam there making a move down the inside here of Demspec. DRS aided. They both had DRS on GGJ, but Joam getting ahead of Demspec there up into P2. Matty Pitt's got ahead of Little Greavy as well up into 5th place. So that's job done there for Matty Pitt. And looking back up the order there, now Joam is all over the back of GGJ. Will you have DRS down this part of the track? No, you don't have DRS down this part of the track. But Demspec is looking up the inside of Joam here, looking to try and send one into the chicane. He trips over the curve a little bit there. Demspec is trying to keep it around the outside. Joam got nowhere to go because GGJ is getting a little bit out of shape, and now GGJ is losing out to Demspec. Demspec around the outside there of GGJ, and GGJ just got a horrible run coming through that sequence. Demspec drove clean around the outside of him. Joam had to have a look but couldn't do it. But what a move there from Demspec up into the lead of the race, and Joam still stuck behind GGJ at the moment, but that was incredible stuff there from Demspec. as Matty Pitt has got ahead of Little Greavy, and so is the Mutt's Nuts. So Matty Pitt and the Mutt's Nuts moving up into 5th and 6th places respectively then, and I'm sure they'll be pretty chuffed with that at the moment, but it's still Dams Becky leading the race ahead of GGJ at the moment, just under a second currently separating those two, and you can see the rest of them all filing through the exit of the stadium section just there then. But lots of action here in the opening few laps here of the Mexico City Grand Prix Emotive for season 4 here on the F1 game. Obviously race 13 of 15 for the season. The big news tonight is that this man here has wrapped up the championship already, and here he goes, he's looking to the outside here on GGJ. GGJ defends the inside line. Jones going to try and go the long way around here as they come into turn 2 now. He's got the inside for this bit, but he has to ride over the curb a little bit there, has to avoid him, but oh, GGJ's gone deep, and that will allow Joram to swoop up the inside here and manages to mug him there. Joram up into P2 now. Game for Life is on the back of GGJ as well, but GGJ's trying to come back at Joram coming into the chicane. Down the inside he goes a little bit deep. Does Joram get the cut back? No, he doesn't. GGJ's back up into 2nd place, and these two having a great little battle here. And Joram's going to have to tuck back in and go again here, because GGJ set him up an absolute treat there with that comeback, with that cutback. Game for Life just watching in the background here, trying to get involved, potentially score a podium finish in the final race of this season. But Dems Becky there with a 3-second time penalty for track limits we're seeing there popping up on the screen. Tezza Mazza's having a battle with Raki here for 12th place. So Tezza Mazza is now making a few gains here in this race after obviously having that spin on the first lap. But Dems Becky has over a second of a lead now over GGJ, so he's now trying to just pull out that gap a little bit. GGJ's got Joram hassling him here as they're coming out of the last corner and about to complete lap 5 of this race. Game for Life in the background there, not too far away either. Dems Becky with the fastest lap of the race there, 1 minute 20.9 as they're coming over the line here. But GGJ looking pretty close right now as he'll have DRS down the start finish straight, which will allow him to defend a little bit from Joram as they're coming down towards turn 1 once again here in this race. But all go here in the opening few laps of the Mexico City Grand Prix. Max Pipe to the inside here of Orky, but can't get it done. Orky goes very low on the brakes, and nowhere to go there for Magpie Toon at the moment. He's got a 3-second time penalty as well for track limits. We're just seeing that pop up on the screen there, so that's not going to help him very much at all. Magpie Toon's now going to have a run here on Orky as he's going to have DRS as well. Looking to the outside, rearing wide open there for Magpie Toon. Orky's still there, trying to send it on back down the inside as Magpie Toon holding it around the outside, and Orky goes ever so wide there on the exit of the corner. Orky now gets a time penalty for running wide and gaining an advantage. It's Magpie Toon pushing Orky off the track and holds on to the position as a result. That was a little bit sketchy there from Magpie Toon. He didn't do it on purpose because he actually got it wrong on the exit of the corner and had a bit of oversteer, and that just forced him to push Orky off the track because he was correcting oversteer himself, and unfortunately for Orky he just had nowhere to go, and lucky there to avoid an incident. But these two having a great battle here for 9th and 10th places. Also Big Tigger's pretty close on the back of Little Greavy in his battle for 7th and 8th places, but Little Greavy's starting to pull out a bit of a gap to him right now. Dems Becky can't shake off GGJ and Joram right now as they're coming down the start finish straight. Once again the 3 leaders here. They've got Game for Life now tagging on the back of them as well, so Game for Life is definitely not out of this battle for the win here. It's been a great performance so far. Game for Life clearly a big lover of this Mexico City GP circuit, but currently GGJ's just keeping Dems Becky within arm's reach, and Joram is definitely on the back of GGJ right now. He's 0.3 of a second apart, but GGJ with DRS from Dems Becky means that Joram can't really put the pressure on GGJ that he would be liking to at this point. As there's 7 of you currently watching the stream, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching right now. As we can see, Rednass has lost out to Orky. Orky's up to P10, but Rednass is trying to hold it around the outside here, going through the chicane, the second part of the chicane. Rednass keeping it around the outside, and is that going to be job done for him? Yes, it is. He swoops around up into P10, into the final points paying position. Orky was fighting that one quite hard, but couldn't quite keep on to that one. Let's go back to the battle for the lead though, because Dems Becky, GGJ and Joram still running, all these 3 within a second of each other. Game for Life just dropping off the back of them a little bit now. There's the Mutt's Nuts who's trying to put this pressure here on Matty Pitt for 5th and 6th places here. You can see those two still having a great little fight at this early stage in the race, but Dems Becky still leading this race by 0.8 of a second ahead of GGJ with Joram right there as well. Dems Becky with the fastest lap of the race that last time around, just extended the gap to GGJ a little bit, but he's still not out of DRS threat at the moment. Joram a little bit closer to GGJ than GGJ is to Demsbecky, but Demsbecky getting that closing speed and closing onto the back of Demsbecky in towards the turn 1 braking zone. GGJ's got faster straight line speed than Demsbecky and Joram, and I'm noticing that now. GGJ's gone for a slightly less downforcey setup, so for the twisty parts of the track, that's why Demsbecky's just pulling out that gap a little bit, and then GGJ's really reading him in down the straights. But if GGJ can keep himself in striking distance in the twisty bits, he might have a chance coming down the straights. So at the moment, GGJ is just holding on to the back of Demsbecky right now. Joram's still right there within touching distance, as DJ Phil has got a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on there with DJ Phil, but I assume he's just been pushing the limits a little bit too hard there, maybe. Still yet to pit in this race as well is DJ Phil, and the only driver to have come in so far was Twitch Storms at the end of the first lap, but we're still watching these guys, Demsbecky, GGJ and Joram battling it out over the lead of the race. So if you're currently watching the stream, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing right now. It's been a hectic first few laps. It's been a bit chaotic and fast-paced action. There's so much going on, it's hard to know where to look or where to turn, but currently Demsbecky's got GGJ a little bit closer to him this time around, and GGJ, I've said before, with the straight line speed that he's clearly got a bit of straight line speed over these other two, might have a chance here coming down towards turn 1. He's using that slipstream now. You can see the DRS wide open in the Aston Martin. He's a little bit closer, but not quite there, and he's going to get there a little bit too late. Oh, Demsbecky goes a little bit wide there coming through turn 1, but GGJ's going to cut back. In fact, GGJ's going to get a much better drive here, and Demsbecky wide onto the exit, and that's going to allow GGJ up the inside. Now Joram might fancy a move as well, because Demsbecky's going to be very vulnerable with no DRS. Joram looking to the outside of GGJ as well. Demsbecky trying to hold it on the inside, but can't keep ahead of Demsbecky. Demsbecky's going to have it. Surely GGJ's going to have it. No, Demsbecky back around the outside again, and Demsbecky holds on to the lead here. This is now allowed Game for Life to close back up onto the rear of them, with these three tripping over each other, but Demsbecky keeping onto the lead somehow there in that exchange. So he is now gone and seized the initiative once again after looking like he had lost the lead momentarily there. GGJ's now got the defend from Joram, because Joram is only 0.2 of a second of him right now, and this is the part of the track where GGJ struggles. So if Demsbecky can break that DRS zone here, coming down towards the start-finish straight, then Joram will have a great chance of seizing P2 here, and the gap is over a second. It's under a second now. It's going up and down here. What's the gap going to be as they come out of the last corner? Oh, it's going to be close. I'll tell you what. Is GGJ going to have DRS here on Demsbecky? I'll tell you what, Joram is much closer to GGJ this time around than he has been on previous laps, but I think once again he's just going to come up a little bit short. GGJ did manage to hold on to the DRS there on Demsbecky, and we'll still get that rear wing open as we come into turn 1, but Joram is much closer to GGJ now. Game for Life is still tagging along behind these guys, but still can't really get a look in here in these podium places. But Demsbecky's still your race leader at the moment, with these guys all still yet to pit, and we've lost Teza Muzza from the race. Teza Muzza has crashed out here at the end of lap 9, so we've got double waved yellow flags through sector 3, but it looks like the stewards have deemed it not, well, the race directors deemed it not enough for the safety car to come out. He reckons that the marshals are going to be able to get that sorted out quite easily here, which is good to see. But wow, an interesting incident there with Teza Muzza, but Demsbecky still leading this race ahead of GGJ and Joram right now. Joram is now much closer to the back of GGJ than he has been in the last few laps, as the double wave yellow flags have now subsided. We're down to 14 drivers here for this Mexico City Grand Prix here tonight at Motive, as Joram, once again, you can hear whenever you go on board with him, you just get to really experience how much of a difference it is when you've got no traction control. You're over revving the car, you're trying to generate as much traction as you possibly can. It's just so difficult to really get any grip, any purchase off of the surface, as he's now within 0.3 of a second of GGJ, but GGJ once again with the DRS on Demsbecky will allow him to just tow him along. Orky there with a 3-second time penalty for track limits, as Joram once again can't get anything done there with GGJ coming into turn 1. And it's as you were now, with Game for Life ever closer to the back of these guys as well. I'll tell you what, out of these four, I think the favourites for this race win, it's going to be between Joram and Game for Life, because with Demsbecky and GGJ on the medium tyres, their strategy is not going to be on point. I don't think, compared to the two guys behind them, it's going to be, I think, quite difficult for them. we've got a battle going on between Matty Pitt and the Mutsnuts still for P5 and 6. These two have raced each other before, they know each other quite well. Little Greavy a couple of seconds behind the Mutsnuts. There's Rednass in 8th place, followed by Big Tigger. Then you've got Magpie Toon there running in 10th place, and then there's a big gap back to Walkie and Raki, who are a little way clear of Twitch Storms and DJ Phil, but the top 10 only covered by 15 seconds right now. And Rednass has got ahead of Little Greavy. Little Greavy's lost out to Big Tigger and Magpie Toon, and that is why, because Little Greavy has spun it there, coming through the middle part of the lap. What a shame there for him, as he seems to have got it going once again now, but he's now 20 seconds off for the lead, and he's lost about 10 seconds of race time there as well, so that's not gone to plan at all for him, as we can see the two leaders now, Demsbecky and GGJ, have just managed to gap Jerome a little bit over the course of this lap. GGJ just holding on to Demsbecky. Demsbecky did definitely set quite a fast lap there, because he pulled away from both of his two pursuers. And Demsbecky getting the hammer down a little bit now, maybe noticed approaching the pit window and thinking, right, it's time to just leave it all out there. But Little Greavy going into the pits at the end of lap 11, I assume for damage repairs, or maybe his tyres are just a bit burnt out after that spin. Magpie Toon also coming in, so Little Greavy and Magpie Toon the first of the top 10 to come into the pits currently. Orkie's obviously come in a couple of the laps ago. Raki's still yet to come in. Twitch Storms came in on lap 1. DJ Phil came in a couple of laps ago and put a set of soft tyres on, as now we see Little Greavy coming to the end of the pit lane. Orkie might be in a decent position in this race, because he's been into the pits already, so Orkie, I reckon, could maybe be in the battle for P7 in this race. Who knows how it's all going to play out, but yeah, he's definitely, I think, in that battle with Rednass and Big Tigger in this one. Although having said that, he put the medium tyres on 3 laps ago, so I don't know if they're going to do 27 laps. I think maybe that might be a bit of a push, actually. That could be a bit ambitious, but nonetheless, we see Demsbecky still leading this race by 0.8 of a second right now ahead of GGJ. Seems like in this part of the track he just managed to put out the gap a little bit, but GGJ still crucially within that DRS range, and Joam fastest of all of these guys on that previous lap. As the fuel loads start to lighten, they're getting more grip, they're getting more speed out of these tyres, and Joam obviously on the hard tyres, his tyres are not even going to be at their prime yet. They'll be in their prime in a couple of laps time, so he's definitely still got a lot of life left in those tyres just yet. Demsbecky and GGJ, their medium tyres will be starting to go off at their peak now just a little bit. DJ Phil there with a 3-second time penalty, as you can see Joam really close on GGJ coming into the braking zone, but a little bit too far back to make anything happen there. These guys are now pulling away a little bit from Game for Life, but Game for Life still very much in this on the strategy with those hard tyres on. Joam obviously on the hard since the beginning of the race, and he's still keeping pace with Demsbecky and GGJ right now, but Demsbecky and GGJ surely have got to pick it up now in order to gap Joam a little bit and give themselves a fighting chance in this race, with obviously Joam being able to put the medium tyres on the faster tyre in the final stint of this race. He'll have much better grip and will be able to go much quicker than these guys. Game for Life has got a 3-second time penalty. That's just popped up on our screen there for track limits, as Demsbecky's also got a penalty. So GGJ and Joam currently the only drivers in the top 4 who still haven't got a penalty in this race so far. As we see, Tezza Muzzo's now left the session, obviously retired from the race a couple of laps ago, but it's currently Demsbecky and GGJ 6/10 apart. Joam's right on the back of GGJ as well, as we start lap 14 of this race. Game for Life, fastest car, fastest driver of all these 4 on that previous time around. And here goes GGJ looking to the inside here at the end of the start finish straight. He's going to make the move into turn 1, but you can see Demsbecky trying to hold it on the outside. He does that brilliantly there, as Demsbecky keeps ahead of him just about. Demsbecky's doing a fantastic job here. Every time you think he's done, every time I think he's lost the lead, he suddenly comes back around the outside or pops the car in a place where you wouldn't expect it to go. But GGJ's trying to come back at Demsbecky coming down the end of the straight. Can't get anything done there, as GGJ's got to watch out, because Joam is now right on him as well, as Game for Life looking to try and once again feast on these scraps, but Demsbecky once again survives and maintains the lead of this race here on lap 14. These 4 still yet to come in and make their pit stops. Obviously we're expecting Joam and Game for Life to go long here into this first stint. Demsbecky and GGJ on his medium tyres will have to come in, you'd expect, in the next few laps, but Joam and Game for Life could probably go another sort of 8, 9, 10 laps on their tyres and be able to put the faster tyres on, maybe even the soft, who knows, at the end of the race. There's Demsbecky there with another time penalty, so he's now got, I think, at least 6 seconds of penalties to his name. Let's have a look. Penalty 6 seconds there, yeah, for Demsbecky, so that's not gone well at all for him. as here we go then over the line as Joam is closer to GJ, but GJ is much closer to the back of Demsbecky as down the inside he goes, and Joam looks like he's going to follow through with 3-1 coming into turn 1. Joam here trying to thread the needle because he's trying to go around the outside of GGJ, and GGJ is going to lose out here, I think, as Demsbecky trying to keep it there as GGJ tucks in. Oh, Demsbecky's lost it on the exit of turn 2. Oh, what a shame there for Demsbecky. He's been leading most of this first stint. Joam comes through and leads this race here on lap 15. GGJ's trying to come back him into the braking zone here at the end of the little straight. He's now got a little bit alongside him there. They're side by side coming through the chicane, and GGJ's trying to hold it around the outside on those medium tyres. Joam on the hard tyres holding his inside line. GGJ's sliding around everywhere, but Joam's got out of it a little bit there. So he's given the lead back to GGJ, but GGJ's going, no, go on. Or have we got a safety car? That might have been what we got. I think that might be why they were backing out of it there. I think we have a safety car here on lap 15. Double wave yellow flags through sector 1, 2 and 3. That indicates a full course caution, and indeed we do have a full safety car due to the DNF of Magpie 2, who is out of this race. So what a shame there for Magpie 2 crashing out here, and almost at the midway point. Now this is going to give a lot of drivers a free pit stop here, and this is going to spice this race right up right now. But this has worked out in quite well for Demsbecky here, because now he'll be back on the rear of these guys and be able to change tyres as well. What's going to happen here? These guys are all going to come in. GGJ is in, also is Joam, so this messes up the strategy a little bit for Joam and Game for Life, because obviously they were on the more durable tyres and they would have had the faster tyres compared to the other guys in the second stint of the race. But unfortunately for them, this has now put a nail, or not put a nail, but it's put a bit of a spanner in the works for that. GGJ's gone for the hard tyres, obviously because he has to, because he hasn't done any laps on the hard tyres, so he's now on the hards, and Joam and Game for Life are able to put the mediums on. They should be able to go to the end, because obviously the safety car period means we're going to probably be a couple of laps, so they'll have to do about 17 or 18 laps on the mediums by the time we get to the end. That is probably doable for Joam and Game for Life, so they're in a great position right now. GGJ on the hards, I mean, he can definitely go to the end. He can take a lot of life out of those tyres and not worry, but it's going to be frustrating for him. Demsbecky likewise on the hards as well. So it's going to be a frustrating situation here, certainly for Joam, and obviously for Game for Life, who was on the hards. But Demsbecky has now put a set of hard tyres on, and GGJ as well. And Rednas has decided to stay out, so we'll lead this race as long as he doesn't come in before the end of the safety car period. Rednas will lead this race, and I wonder if he's banking on another safety car maybe here. But nonetheless, he is now your race leader. And yeah, guys, what a race this is shaping up to be. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly. guys, we're moments away from the restart here. Lap 18 of 36. We've got 18 racing laps here to go. Joram and Game for Life has put the medium tyres on. Are those tyres going to last them all the way to the flag? Rednass will definitely have to come in because he hasn't come in for his mandatory pit just yet. And obviously we've got Dennis Becky and GGJ on the hards, who'll be able to push as much as they like in the second part of this race. What is going on here on the restart? Are we underway? I think we are underway. GGJ has just gained a load of places off of the line. Wow! Joram is no, GGJ had to keep those places back. So Rednass there leads into turn 1. You got Dennis Becky and Joram, and GGJ is trying to attack here. His Game for Life got ahead of Orky. In fact, I think Orky managed to get ahead of Game for Life briefly there, but you can see Matty Pitt there moving through, trying to get ahead of Little Greavy side by side with him there. But Joram's got ahead of Dennis Becky now on the run down towards the chicane. As we can see, these guys pretty close. As now Joram's trying to grab a crack at Rednass as well. Down the inside goes Joram. He pushed him a little bit wide. Rednass is going to try and come back at him here, but Rednass obviously knows his teammate. He's on a different strategy here, and Joram now takes the lead here of the Mexican City Grand Prix. As we can see, GGJ's now squeezed through ahead of Dennis Becky as well. So Dennis Becky losing out a few places here. On this restart, and GGJ has lost out back to Rednass. Rednass is trying to keep himself there and try and help his teammate Joram out a little bit, but Dennis Becky's got pressure here from Big Tigger as well, and you can see Rednass there making the move here back on GGJ, coming down towards the final part of the lap. GGJ very little on the brakes. Does he hold it down the outside? He does, and GGJ there around the outside up into P2. Big Tigger's made the move on Little Greavy here up into 5th, so it's been an electric restart from Little Greavy as well, sorry, from Big Tigger should I say, and Orky on the back of these guys right there as well, watching this on go on. But Joram has got nearly a 4-second lead down to the work done by his teammate Rednass, who really put up a fantastic fight there against GGJ. The gap is 3.6 between Joram and GGJ right now. There's Dennis Becky ahead of Big Tigger, who's been really on a rampage here since the restart. Little Greavy's in essentially a Big Tigger, but too far back to make anything happen there coming into turn 1. But Joram here has got nearly a 4-second lead over GGJ, and that would be exactly what he wanted. His Game for Life's lost a few places here on this restart, down to 8th. He's just ahead of Twitch Storms at the moment as DJ Phil has retired from the race. And Little Greavy's got back ahead of Big Tigger on the run down towards the chicane. Big Tigger's trying to send one down the inside. He goes really deep though, and I think he's going to lose that position. Little Greavy swoops back around up into 4th place, and he's got the move done there once again. Big Tigger there just went a little bit, I think put a little bit too many eggs into that basket there. He loses out to Orky, but he gets the run out of the corner, and Big Tigger should be able to take P5 back again here on Orky. Yes, he does. But wow, incredible racing there from those guys, and Big Tigger there keeping on to P5, but not able to keep on to that 4th place that he had ahead of Little Greavy just there. There's Dennis Becky. Oh, GGJ's lost it. GGJ bends it into the wall there. Dennis Becky there up into 2nd place. Little Greavy onto the podium places, and GGJ has had an absolute nightmare there. We've got a full course caution again, and I can't work out why. I think we've got another safety. Have we got another safety car? I don't think. No, I don't think we do. I think it's all right. Is it another safety car? I think it might be actually. You know what? I think it might be another safety car. I can see that yellow dot. That dreaded yellow dot. It's moving again. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's all right. It's gone. I think we're okay. Yes, we are. Green flag racing continues again. So DJ Phil now out of this race, and GGJ has been disqualified for facing the wrong way for too long. Ow, I know what he was doing. That little safety car glitch didn't work because we got safety cars on reduced. Big brain. But Big Tigger's made a mistake. He's lost out to a few drivers here. He's ghosting through Game for Life. So as Big Tigger left the session, he must have left the session. He must have disconnected or left, because he's got drivers ghosting through him here. So he's clearly not at the screen. And Big Tigger has dropped down to 7th place here, so that's not gone the way that he would have wanted it to at all here. But Joram's still be race leader by 7.5 seconds ahead of Dennis Becky. He's got a couple of seconds back to Little Greavy, but with Big Tigger now out of this race, it's kind of left the race a little bit dry, to be honest with you. Game for Life's lost out to Big Tigger. Big Tigger now back up into P6 again. And all of a sudden, what was a 4-car battle for the lead is now the Joram show. How quickly has this race gone from really cracking action, you know, sort of unpredictable, to well, familiar sighting really. The Muttnuts down the inside of Orky up into 4th, made that move. Game for Life squeezes through ahead of Big Tigger up into 6th. Rednass there, now up into P10, into the points playing positions with Twitch Storms coming in for some damage repairs again. His race has gone from bad to worse. Game for life here, trying to make the move on Orky around the outside. Does he get it done? Orky trying to go around back down the inside for the next part of the chicane and manages to squeeze Game for life out here. What's going to happen into the next corner? Game for life does manage to get around the outside, and Big Tigger's trying to go around the outside of Orky as well. Bit of contact there between Big Tigger and Orky, and Orky manages to get back through ahead of Big Tigger there. And in fact, Orky's managed to get back ahead of Game for Life. So Game for Life got out of it a little bit. I don't know if they made a mistake coming through that next corner, but Orky now up into P5 as we got double wave yellow flags here through Sector 1. I'm not exactly certain what those are in aid of at this particular moment, but Rednass there with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. We're just seeing that pop up on the screen right there. And yeah, chaos right now in this race, but Joram is now looking like he's pretty much got this race done. And yeah, I mean, he was on the hard tyres to be fair in the first stint, so his pace was pretty on point to be right on the back of the leaders. One driver I'm surprised at though is Game for Life, because we saw Game for Life really had the pace on the hard tyres, like Joram, was on the back of Joram for the entirety of that first stint, and since the pit stops has just drifted away and is now nowhere to be seen. And what a shame there for him. But here we are then, lap 23 of 36 for the Mexico City Grand Prix, and it's currently Joram with quite a big lead here in this race. Game for Life is now gapped Orky by about a second. Big Tigger and Matty Pitt is now joining this battle as well with Orky and Big Tigger, so Matty Pitt could be in this very much in this fight for P6. We can see Matty Pitt's actually got back ahead of Big Tigger there up into P6. So nice done there. Matty Pitt's now got ahead of Big Tigger and Orky. Orky made a mistake there coming to the stadium section, and he's dropped down to 8th place there. So what a shame there for Orky as he's now coming into the pits here at the end of lap 23. Twitch Storms have got a 3-second time penalty there for multiple track limits. We're seeing that pop up on the screen just there. Joram's got now over a 10-second lead over Demis Becky, and he's continuing to pull out that gap. There's Rednass and Iraqi side by side here. Rednass is going to make the move down the inside into turn 1, and Rednass there gets that move up into 8th place there. Routine stuff that looked like there for Rednass, and Iraqi there sees his former team go past. Oh, as Iraqi loses it coming out of turn 3. Oh, double wave down the flags through sector 1. He gets it going back on the track again. Wastes no time at all in getting that back pointing the right way, but Iraqi's lost about 10 seconds there to Rednass, and that's going to now take him well away out of any sort of threat of a battle in that particular instance. Big Tigger still keeping Matty Pitt on the same page right now, but is Matty Pitt just going to pull away and start trying to chase down the front runners here? Maybe he's 10 seconds off a Little Greavy, 8 seconds behind the Mutts Nuts. He's only 5 seconds off of Game for Life, but I imagine Game for Life's going to have some very strong pace at this point. What a shame that Game for Life had a really sketchy couple of laps out of the pits after putting the medium tyres on, because Game for Life has had the pace of Joram tonight. On those medium tyres, I wouldn't write off Game for Life of getting a P2 here tonight. And knowing what Joram's like when he wins championships, if Game for Life can get himself into P2, that could turn into a win. Going off of what happened last season at Abu Dhabi, and obviously Joram has won the championship already here tonight. He's got a 61-point lead over Bennett. After tonight there will only be 2 races left, so as it stands, the gap, it will be, well, it will definitely be too big. The fact is Joram has won this championship. The only reason why he hasn't officially won it yet is because we've still technically got 3 races left, but obviously after tonight there'll be 2 races left. The gap is 61 points. He's essentially already champion. If he were to retire from the race right now, he would still be champion. That's just the situation, but obviously we're not officially at the end yet, so we can't officially crown him champion until we've only got 2 races races left in the season, because at which point we've got 2 races left, we'll be at the point in which 61 points will no longer be overhaulable for Bennett. Overhaulable is a word, I think. If it's not, please tell me an alternative word in the comments. But yeah, right now Jerome has got over a 12-second lead over Dem Specky. Game for Life is closing in on the Mutts Nuts as well, so that could be another position here for Game for Life. He's only about 3 seconds off of a podium, and Game for Life just needs to keep his cool here and keep pushing, because I think he's got a podium pretty much in the bag and could potentially have a P2, as he's only 9 seconds or 10 seconds or 9.5 seconds behind Dem Specky. So that could definitely be an opportunity for Game for Life to knock on the door of a P2 here in this race. Just need to keep pushing and make those medium tyres work in the final part of this race. He's closing up onto the back of the Mutts Nuts and should be able to be within striking distance of a move very shortly indeed. The Mutts Nuts here just putting a lap on the Haas car here. Sorry, he's not putting a lap. Sorry, I do apologise, Little Greavy. That's Little Greavy. I didn't realise how much time Little Greavy had lost there to the guys behind him. Wow, he's right. He's now, the Mutts Nuts is now right on the back of Little Greavy. So Little Greavy has to go watch out, because the Mutts Nuts could be knocking on the door of a podium here. Let's jump on board with our Scotsman here as he's now in the slipstream. He'll have the DRS here coming down this little straight which leads down towards the chicane. Still a little bit too far back just at the moment though. But the Mutts Nuts has pulled away a little bit from Game for Life over the last lap or so. Game for Life was almost within a second about a lap or so ago. The gap's now 1.2 between the Mutts Nuts and Game for Life, but the Mutts Nuts has got to clear Little Greavy quickly, otherwise he will fall back into the clutches of Game for Life again. You can see here now Game for Life is once again within a second of the Mutts Nuts, so the Mutts Nuts needs to get on with this. He needs to waste no time behind that Haas car of Little Greavy. Little Greavy on 4 lap older tyres than these two behind him, so he will have to really work hard if he wants to hold on to this podium place. Game for Life's got a penalty as well. Obviously Little Greavy and the Mutts Nuts haven't, so that could pay dividends here for both of these two and take the pressure off of them if Game for Life were to get ahead of them. But here we come out of the last corner here, about to complete lap 27 on the race. 9 laps left to go here for the Mexico City Grand Prix. The Mutts Nuts are going to have a great run here down the start finish straight, and I reckon that Little Greavy's going to be defenceless here. Here we go, rear wing open for the Williams of the Mutts Nuts. Is he just a little bit too far back? I think he is. He's going to get there just a little bit too late, and Little Greavy's going to hold on to 3rd place for the time being. The Mutts Nuts is right on him here as they're coming through turns 1, 2 and 3 and out onto this little back straight once again. But I think just again you can see the Mutts Nuts just a little bit too far away on Little Greavy. There's Game for Life looking to the inside of the Mutts Nuts in towards the chicane, too far back just at the moment. And holding position for the time being then. But great racing from all these guys right now, battling it out over the podium places here. Joe, still your race leader, has got a 16-second gap right now over Dem Specky, so he's continuing to boss things out the front. Game for Life with a 3-second time penalty there for track limits, as we're seeing him trying to put the pressure now on Little Greavy and the Mutts Nuts. The Mutts Nuts has also now got a penalty, so he obviously that gives the advantage to Little Greavy in this battle for the podium places here, as we're now coming out of the last corner, about to start lap 29 of the race. The Mutts Nuts here will have once again that slipstream, but the DRS, which is absolutely crucial here. He's now going to get that massive closing speed here as we're coming down towards turn 1. Is he going to be able to get alongside him coming into the turn 1? I don't think he is. The Mutts Nuts is going to have to surely tuck in. He's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, great move from the Mutts Nuts. Ballsy as anything, and Little Greavy's actually going to try and follow Game for Life through as well. Around the outside. Oh, Game for Life. Oh my gosh. Little Greavy there keeping around him there. Wow, the Mutts Nuts still up into 3rd place here in this race, and he pulled off that move absolutely brilliantly. Little Greavy just surviving there ahead of Game for Life by the skin of his teeth. and Game for Life's going to have to go again and think again how he's going to get this move done on Little Greavy. Big Tigger though with a 3-second time penalty there popping up on the screen for track limits. So currently we got everybody except Little Greavy with a time penalty here. So lots of drivers have been picking up time penalties due to just overstepping the market a little bit much over the course of the race. And we've seen is still running in P3 at the moment, then just over a second clear of Little Greavy, who's still got Game for Life hassling him. I tell you what, if the Mutt Nuts can keep that second gap to Little Greavy, then that's going to allow Game for Life to breeze past Little Greavy coming down the start finish straight. Here we go, and this is surely going to be job done here for Game for Life by the time we get to the end of the straight. Look at the closing speed that he's got already just with this setup, and he's going to get an even more bigger toe here coming through the DRS zone. Here we go, rear wing wide open for Game for Life. He's going to breeze past Little Greavy there up into the 4th place, and that's going to be job done there way before the braking zone. Game for Life up into 4th and can now focus on the Mutt Nuts up ahead of him, and we'll try and pull out the gap in this twisty section of the track to Little Greavy. So Game for Life now in this hunt for the podium spots with the Mutt Nuts' penalty. Just going to have a quick look and see what the penalties are. So Game for Life has got 3 more seconds than the Mutt Nuts has, so he'd need to get ahead of him and put out a 3-second gap. But these two need to pull out a gap to Little Greavy as well, because Little Greavy knows as long as he stays within 3 seconds of these two, we'll be able to take the final spot on the podium here tonight. So he's in a decent position right now, is Little Greavy, and he just needs to keep cool and keep calm and not mess this up. But Joe, I'm currently a race leader. He's dominating this race here in the second stint. He was on the back of Demsbecky, and obviously we saw it was a 4-way battle for the lead between GGJ, Demsbecky, Joram and Game for Life. And Joram and Game for Life obviously were in a better position, knowing that they were on the hard tyres. They could put the mediums on for the second stint. Game for Life made a few mistakes after his pit stop and just lost a load of time and found himself way off the back, and then got involved in a bit of a scuffle really with Little Greavy. And obviously the Mutt Nuts, Game for Life's actually made the move on the Mutt Nuts coming down the start finish straight. Has he got it completed, or is the Mutt Nuts going to try and come back and come into turn 2? I think Game for Life has got that job done. And now he's got to pull out a 3-second gap, and he's got to make sure that he's at least 6 seconds clear of Little Greavy, who's running a 1.5 seconds behind him in 5th place. So Game for Life has got 5.5 laps left to pull out maybe 5 seconds to these guys running behind him, if he wants to stand on that third step of the podium. And he also needs to make sure he doesn't pick up any more penalties in the process. As Rednass has got ahead of Matty Pitt, and that's because Matty Pitt spun. Oh, Matty Pitt's missing his front wing as well, as he's binned it there coming through the middle sector. And Matty Pitt is now going to have to limp round to the pits. He was running in a brilliant P6, but that's going to turn probably to, I reckon, a P10 at best here, maybe P11. He might drop out of the points here. Well, Matty Pitt, he's going to have to come in and get that front wing changed, and he's going to lose time whilst he's coming around this lap as well. Oh, what a shame there for Matty Pitt. As into the pits he comes, and the McLaren crew are out there in force waiting and ready for him. But that is going to be so frustrating there for him. As we can see, Big Tigger now moving up into P7, and Orky's going to come around and take P8 in this race. Matty Pitt's now off and away. Orky, Raki and Twitch Storms are quite close together actually, so Matty Pitt might end up dropping down, as I said before, might end up in P11 here. There's Raki coming through, so Raki moves up into 9th. Twitch Storms just coming down the straight now. It's going to be quite close, but I think actually Matty Pitt is just going to hold on here for P10, so he's going to stay in the points for the time being. There's a Little Greavy's now got a 3-second time penalty as well, so now he's not going to be able to benefit from the two guys ahead of him. Game for Life's got a 9-second penalty. So Game for Life has still got to pull out 6 seconds to Little Greavy, but now the Mutt Nuts has got a 6-second swing in his favour, so that's going to only benefit him in his battle to try and get on the podium. It's currently the advantage, the Mutt Nuts here in this battle for 3rd place, with Game for Life now sporting 9 seconds worth of penalties. Every single driver on this track now has a penalty. Little Greavy was the only one without a penalty. He's now managed to pick up 3 seconds worth. So what a shame there for him, as Orki's got another penalty. He's now got 15 seconds worth of time penalties. There are so many time penalties being handed out here tonight. It is absolute time penalty haven here, as we see Raki has had a bit of a spin there and gets it going again, but he's now lost out to Matty Pitt and Twitch Storm, so those two into the points, and Raki now out of the points. What a dramatic night here of racing, as GTJ said in the comments section. That wasn't good. I was waiting till everybody passed me to prevent other crashes, then I get a disqualification. It wasn't down to him trying to trigger a safety car then, yeah, he was just very sportsmanlike, allowing everybody to make their way through, not cause any crashes or impeding anybody, and ultimately he's got done for it, which is really unfair. So yeah, don't know really what he was supposed to do in that situation. But nonetheless, it's Joram leading the race by over 20 seconds at the moment. Dennis Becky there in second place. He's got a bit of a gap back to Game for Life, who sits in the final podium place. But as we said before, he needs to pull out 6 seconds to the Mutts Nuts in the final few laps of this race. Has he got the pace to do that? He's currently 2.5 seconds ahead of him, so he needs to find another 3.5 seconds over the course of the next 3 laps. So he needs to lap just over a second lap quicker than the Mutts Nuts if he is to take home this podium spot here, the final podium spot for tonight's Mexico City Grand Prix here at Motive for season 4, round 13 and 15 in this championship. 60, you're currently watching the stream, guys. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed the action that you've seen out on track tonight. It's been absolutely great from my point of view. It's been a few thrills and spills, but ultimately it's been a joy to cover. Race leader Joram starting the final lap of the race. He is the champion-elect here. He's about to take his 3rd championship here at Motive. He's just got a bit of traffic here in the shape of an AlphaTauri. I think that's his dad. No, it's not his dad. It's his dad's teammate, maybe. Yeah, it's Orki. Wow. So Joram has lapped everybody up into 8th place. Quite incredible, really. I suppose with such a depleted field at the end, it kind of makes sense. But Joram now up ahead of these guys behind him. Obviously Orki and Matty Pitt there battling over 8th and 9th places. But Joram 22. What a season it's been once again from him. It looked like it was going to go all the way down to the wire with his battle all season long with Bennett LCFC. Those two have been trading points and trading wins, and in the early part of the season Bennett did have a bit of a lead, but Joram, as always, when he gets into his stride, claws gaps down, fights back from any disadvantages. We've seen it over the course of season 2, where he won pretty much every race from the midpoint onwards and took a demanding championship win in season 2. Season 3 last season, it went almost down to the wire with Magpie. He took the win in that one as well. It's going to be 3 championships here for Joram as he comes over the line here at Mexico City. This time around he does it with 2 rounds to spare. Joram here with the checker flag in hand, and what a drive from him. 26 seconds clear of everybody else. Joram 22, your 3-time champion, a triple champion here at Motive on the Formula 1 game here on the PlayStation platform. Dennis Becky coming through the final corner here. And it's going to be a second place finish for Dan Specky here at Mexico City. He's a little way clear of Game for Life. Did Game for Life pull out enough of the captain of Mutts Nuts? I don't think he did. I think that Mutts Nuts is going to take home a third place finish here. Game for Life over the line on the track, but the Mutts Nuts will take third place on the penalties. So the Mutts Nuts in third. Game for Life takes fourth in the end, ahead of Little Greavy, who comes over to take fifth. Red Nass is coming out of the final corner and will take sixth place home here tonight, ahead of Big Tigger, who will be the last to finish. Twitch Storms, Matty Pitt, Orky and Raki have all finished the race a lap down. Big Tigger coming through in towards the stadium section here for the final time in this race. And it will be a seventh place for him. And obviously Big Tigger, formerly known as T, big veteran here at Motive, and he's had a few names over the course of his time at Motive, but P7 here, he'll be the last to finish, so well done to him on some good points tonight. But the man of the moment tonight is Joram 22. It wasn't an easy start to the season for Joram. Bennett with the lead early on, and Joram had to really fight. He didn't actually lead the championship until I think it was about round 8 of the season, and then the last couple of races he really did pull out the gap, with Bennett not able to make a couple of races. He came into this one with a 61 point lead. He knew he just had to start the race to win it, so we knew as soon as Bennett didn't turn up to the race, we knew that Joram had the championship in hand. But nonetheless, he got on with it and has gone and taken the win, despite the fact that he didn't even need to. He was probably in a celebratory mood before we even started the race, but kept his head down, kept focused, and is your race winner and your champion for season 4. Joram, your 3-time champion at Motive Racing. It's been my pleasure to cover it over the course of this season, and we've still got 2 rounds left as well, so join us for the next couple of weeks, guys. We've got plenty more action lined up here on the Motive Racing channel. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far this season, and a big thank you to all the drivers for taking part so far as well. Guys, if you did enjoy, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to get your friends involved for next season, we're going to run 2 tiers for the F1 League next season. We're going to run tier 2 around the time that we run the tier 1s now, and then obviously tier 1 will run about 8 o'clock, maybe 8:15 or something like that, but we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear, but I'm really looking to get 2 tiers on board for next season, because it's been too long. We've usually got people who want to race. Obviously tonight a bit different, but we've usually got people waiting to race, and we've got a big enough community now. I think we can probably handle it. So yeah, definitely looking to try and get that ball rolling soon. But once again, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us once again. Smash the like button, and we'll see you very, very soon.